Welcome to another World of Tanks replay. My name is Maxwell and this one is from the user Kanana, and he's driving the ST-1 on a standard battle on the Arctic region. We haven't seen a replay from the ST-1 for a while, but it is a good tank to show just because of how difficult this thing is to damage. It has very, very strong armor if you don't know where to shoot it, or just simply don't have the penetrating power to get through the weak spots that it does have. Incidentally, if you've got a decent penetration gun, if you see the little hatch on the front there, if you can land a shot in that, because it's not sloped like the rest of the armor, your shots will be a lot more likely to go through that point than any other. If you can hit the commander's hatch on the top, that's a little bit of a weak spot, but because it's curved like that, as it's slanted the way that it is, shots tend to bounce off that more often than not. The underplate is a weak spot, but I wouldn't rely on it like you can for other things. I think if you can only see the front, you're best off probably shooting at that commander's hatch and probably loading heat for that as well. Don't shoot the turret. Don't shoot anywhere else from the front, really. That commander's hatch, and if you've got it, load heat. The cupola, possibly, but like I said, it is still slanted, so it will still be difficult to damage. So, Kanana doing what a good tank, heavy tank does, which is take to the south. Was rolling around the corner there, but noticed that there was a couple of tanks heading down this lower road here, and none of his allies had made their way here yet. So Kanana going to be the one to head down this direction. Only got a Waffenträger Panzer IV and a T-44 to contend with at the moment. They'll be reasonably easy to deal with for the ST-1 if neither of them is particularly clued up about where to shoot. His Waffenträger's already having an awful time of it, as you can see. He's just getting pounded. This E-100's giving no damns, though. He's going to come around the corner. No, it looks like he is. He's going to stop right there, probably firing at that Jagdtiger. It's going to give Kanana a chance to head around the corner. Was going to go for the E-100, but saw the T-44 in the background. Even though the T-44 is a much, much smaller threat, I'd be surprised if that thing could even hurt the ST-1 from the front, even shooting through its weak spots. But then again, rather than go all the way around the corner in an effort to try and hit the E-100, just take the shot that you are presented with. Trying to lure the E-100 into firing. He did indeed manage to get the E-100 to fire, but he was able to get damage back in return. One thing about this tank is people tend to try and shoot through the tracks in order to track it and do some damage, but this thing, being Russian, just tends to eat shells rather than actually get tracked. It just eats the shells right up. You see the E-100 doing his best here to try and angle himself. He's doing a really good job. He's keeping his front armor angled, and he's keeping his turret angled between shots as well. Don't want to give people that flat front plate. As you can see, he's doing a great job of not taking any damage here. The only problem I would say with that is when his turret is angled, you know for a fact that he isn't loaded, so you know you can just sit there and take all day to aim. And Kanana has had enough of missing shots. Bounced one on the underbelly and missed the really tiny hatch on the top that he was firing at. So just decides that it is go time and loads the heat because he has to take this E-100 out. And then he can transition up and flank the enemy tanks up the top there, as the allies may not be having such a good time of it. But as they remove one threat, another one comes into view in the form of that Object 704. Luckily for them, the Object 704 is going to be a lot easier to take out, as he falls fairly quickly as well. Battle is pretty even at the moment. Enemy winning 5 kills to 4. But at the bottom here, where Kanana and the rest of the allies are, is fairly even. The allies have got the enemy pushed back. That T-44 is still alive. Although the allies have the enemy tanks pushed back, the allied teams look like they're hanging back as well. So what Kanana wants to do here is just wait a little bit. I would probably have just stopped driving up, count to 5, and then finished making my way up to the top there. And the reason for that is just to allow that Conqueror to drive a little bit further forward. Could have allowed the E-100 to get level with him, and then he would have had a much easier time of doing damage. Takes out the E-75 and decides to go for a suicidal ram on the Jagdtiger. I don't think the E-75 realised that the Jagdtiger was just as large and just as heavy as he was, although he did have the speed and the frontal armour to be able to do the extra damage. Caught an E-100 in a terrible position there. He's just going to get absolutely taken apart. And then once he has fallen, it's time to move on to the Conqueror. You can see the reload speed for the ST-1 isn't fantastic, especially if you're used to driving the British heavies. The reload speed's going to be really punishing. Not as bad as the E75 though, which in my eyes tends to have like what seems like a 15-second reload on its cannon. Probably not quite that bad, but still it feels that bad sometimes. So game progressing pretty well. Enemy team still winning 8 kills to 9 unless Kanana can land this shot, which he can, which evens things up at 9 kills to 9. Looks like it's pretty much even as well, although the enemy team does have the Object 430 and the Tier 10 artillery, whereas the Allies only have their Tier 10 artillery left. It's pretty square in the centre there. You can see there is a Conqueror and that Type 61 trying to hold off the Object 430. Kanana doesn't want to push too far forward, as he doesn't want to open himself up to shots from the right-hand side, although to be honest, any shots that would come from the right-hand side would give his allies an opportunity and some breathing space to fight there. Did take a big hit from the artillery. It's his first one of the match though, and the first bit of damage that he's actually taken, so he can afford just to eat that one up and then push on forwards. AMX 1390's made a move for the centre. It looks like the guys in the centre aren't having a very good time. They've just been absolutely chewed up as everybody just fell upon them like vultures and took them out. They were able to take somebody out in return. Not sure who that was. The Object 430 has fallen. So they were able to get the 430, but unfortunately both of them died. The Type 61 and the Conqueror both fell in battle. Not really sure where this Waffenträger Panzer IV is going. Like he's making a run for it. Don't know if Kanana's going to get him or just leave him. Nope, looks like he's going to take the long route around the bottom. The artillery takes out the T-30 and Kanana's going to head all the way along the bottom road in an effort to try and get back to base. I've got a 1390 T-54E1 and an E75, so they're definitely not in a comfortable position. This Object 704's got to be careful, because if he gets flanked by this AMX 1390, he's going to be in trouble. Looks like he's right on top of him. Can we see what's going on over there? Not quite. There we go. The Object takes out the 1390. Not really sure what happened to the Waffenträger, actually. Probably taken out by artillery, because he's just disappeared off the map. I was too busy looking at the AMX 1390. But I don't want to rewind the video whilst recording, but I'm sure you guys can just rewind it and have a look and then let me know why I'm being stupid in the comments. So the Allied team's in a pretty good position here. We've got Kanana himself and the Object 704 against an E75 and a T-54E1. Unless the T-54E1's loading heat, he's going to have a great deal of difficulty damaging the 704 or the ST-1 from the front. E75's going to have a bit better time with that. The last time we saw the E75, he only had 300 hit points, so he was a one-shot. T-54E1 looking fairly healthy, but like I said, unless he can flank, the perfect idea for them here would be obviously the E75 holds the Object 704's attention, and then the T-54E1 flanks around that hill to Kanana's right-hand side, but that is exactly why Kanana's here. So that T-54E1 was able to get through there himself, and the E75 could just take apart the Object 704. But as it is, Kanana has this whole area just covered off. So lets the E75 know that no, you shall not pass. But a little bit of a mistake by the Object 704 here. He turned around to start heading in this direction. Oh, there we go, a surprise T-54E1. But Kanana is able to get his front armour onto target pretty quickly, gets a shot through his tracks to take him out. And there's going to be nothing the T-54E1 can do now. Artillery landing left and right. Allied and enemy artillery. T-54E1 taking his time with the shot, but that will be his last shot. Won't have any more in the chamber. And Kanana can just take his time now, because there's no way this T-54E1's going to be able to run. Even if his tracks were repaired, Kanana can just take his time, take him out. And that was an excellent kill there for kill number 5. So the T-54E1 wasn't able to take out Kanana's tracks with his first shot. If he was able to take out his track, he may have had a better time of that, although Kanana did have a repair kit. Really, when you are a medium tank or a light tank with an auto-loader, when you're coming up behind a much heavily armoured target than you, what you need to do is take out their tracks with pretty much every single shot, because as soon as they spin around and get their front armour onto target, you are absolutely done. That is your game over. So really what that T-54E1 had to do there was take out Kanana's track with every single shot, or at least his first two. So then he would have made him use his repair kit and then tracked him again. So now it's just the Object 704 and this ST-1 going to be hunting down the Object 261. We're going to speed this one up a little bit until we get into the action. Just going to try and hunt this guy down. He's probably just going to be hiding in K1, considering his tier 10 artillery. In order to get all the way to tier 10 with artillery, obviously you have to have some kind of brain transplant or serious brain deficiency. So he's going to be probably just camping in the same spot for the entire match. Even when he's the last tank on the battlefield, decides not to make a move, probably just going to sit there in the same spot. And here's where he proves to be absolutely wrong and suddenly starts a base capture from nowhere. Nope, there he is. K1, same spot. Of course he is. So it's going to be an easy job now. The Object 261 misses his shot, tries to reverse away, but the red line's in the way, so he can't even commit suicide. Kanana's going to come in, ram him for the end. What a way to end an amazing battle. So absolutely amazing game there played by Kanana and his ST-1, picking himself up over 7,500 points of damage, 6 kills, a well-deserved Top Gun medal, and really playing to the strengths of his vehicle. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, then send that into replay@screenreality.com. The link for that's in the description. Just attach the replay file itself or the link to the What Replay website to the email, and I can check that one out for you. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, informative, you learned something, or you just thought it was fun, think about hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I have been Maxwell, this has been a World of Tanks replay, and I will catch you guys next time.